name's Cameron and I'm here today to talk to Councillor Chandra Muvvala, who is a councillor for the Langley Kedermister ward here in Slough. Now, Chandra knows me quite well. I've worked with Chandra on a few issues on the St Mary's ward with transport and council gardens and things like that. So he is a very active member of the community and he will do very well. Yeah. So Chandra, can you tell me about yourself, like your qualification, profession, family and where you live and things like that?
Sure. Thanks Cameron for taking your time and coming over here and asking me the questions. It's really appreciated. And in terms of me, basically, as you know, I'm Councillor Chandra Muvvala. I'm one of the local councillor. And in terms of my qualification, I did my masters in engineering. So long time ago, I completed my masters in 1996, and I've been working as an IT consultant since 25 years. And I've been living locally for the last 17 years. So I know Langley very well. I know Slough very well, and I'm part of experiencing the problems that the residents are experiencing. So I'm happy to work towards fixing those problems as well, which I've been doing for the last 2 years. Hopefully, I'll continue doing it.
Thank you. When did you enter politics or stand as a candidate and when did you become a councillor?
Yeah, that's a good question. Basically, I'm not a career politician, or my family is not into politics. But in UK, during the Brexit time, I was more interested into UK politics and obviously Brexit matters. So I became a member of the Conservative Party in 2018 or 2017 roughly. And I stood as a candidate in 2019 for the first time as a councillor candidate from Slough Central Ward, and which is very strong Labour ward. But obviously still I did my best with the support of the association, with the support of residents, with the support of family and friends. And we did we did bring good turnout of voters, and we were able to increase the vote share of Conservative votes in Central Ward. That was the first time I stood in 2019. Then 2020 I was supposed to stand from Langley Kedermister, but obviously due to COVID the elections were cancelled. And then in 2021 I stood again as a candidate from the Langley Kedermister Ward, and that's the time I became councillor. And I would like to share a couple of facts here. Conservatives never won from Langley Kedermister in the last 20 years. So it's first time we winning Kedermister Ward after 20 years with the support of residents, family and friends. Thanks to all.
Brilliant. So Chandra, it's been just 2 years, and what has it been like being a councillor, and how do you feel about being a councillor?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a privilege to be a councillor, to be honest. It's a blessing. Being a councillor is not a community service as many things. Community service can be done by anyone, but being a councillor is bringing the government services to the doorsteps of the residents. And this is something which no one can do it other than the elected representatives only. So MP role or the councillor role is like being an elected representative. You are bringing the government services to the doorsteps of the residents, which is a unique role. So I'm very happy to be in this role for the last 2 years, and really I'm blessed to help the residents by bringing the government services to the residents and by taking the residents' feedback back to the government. Thank you. It's a good question.
So what have you achieved majoritarily in the last 2 years?
Yeah, it's been quite few actually. Let me take a look. Let me take my folder. So I focused quite a lot on in terms of improving the safety of Langley in general, and obviously library is another aspect which I will talk about. In terms of the safety, what I did was I arranged a police walkabout in the ward, because residents always feel that they don't see the police officers around the streets like what they used to say in the past. It's changed now, especially after COVID, everything is different. So I thought I should bring the police officers and go around the Langley streets. And fortunately, Thames Valley Police, they were happily supporting us, and I was able to arrange a police walkabout in the ward, and obviously I communicated to the residents about this kind of meetings through the social media. And residents were present, and they were able to ask few questions about the local safety matters and other matters as well. And also I arranged a public meeting with the Superintendent of Police in Langley, which probably, as far as I know, no one has ever arranged that kind of meeting. And again, I invited residents through the social media, Facebook, WhatsApp group, and Twitter, and Nextdoor app as well. And there were quite few residents turned up to the meeting. You were there as well. Thanks for your support for being part of that event. And obviously, police took Thamesville Police, Superintendent of Police was there, and a few other police officers and council officers also were there, because there is a department for community protection in the council as well. So a couple of officers from community protection department from council also were present in the meeting. So obviously, it was to reduce the gap between the residents and the senior police officers, and to improve the collaboration between the residents and the police officers. It was a good meeting, and we had a successful outcome of that meeting. We had a good outcome of that meeting as well, because obviously one of the issue which is very popular in this area, unpopular, but it's a popular, the drugs issue in the Kedermister Park and in the Langley area. So Thames Valley Police introduced a concept called operation called Operation Concept. Is it Operation Concept? Yeah, something like that. Operation Concept, yeah. So it's an Operation Concept. They introduced Operation Concept in Slough, and they expanded the Operation Concept into Langley as well, into our area as well. And as part of it, they kind of have more patrolling. They deploy more resources as well in terms of monitoring the area and recording the incidents. That is one of the aspects that I did. And I was able to get extra patrolling in Kedermister Park, police patrolling in Kedermister and Langley Memorial Park. And the other aspect which I would like to highlight here is, you might be knowing the Trillon Avenue. There are shops like the Co-op, and there are a few other shops. On one side you have the fish and chips, on the other side you have a couple of restaurants, and next to the restaurant in the corner there was a stairwell which is quite big, which was filthy for almost 20-30 years, and people were like urinating and drugs exchanging, everything was happening there. And I put so much efforts in closing down that area with a brick wall. I mean, obviously I asked for the secured entrance, secured gate. I want them to build a gate with a secured access or security, with a secured fob or something like that. But officers spoke to the residents upstairs because there are flats above the shops, and they spoke to the residents, and the residents wanted kind of close down that area. So we got a brick wall built now, so that stairwell is being closed, and it is lot tidy now, and it is lot safe as well. I mean, you can check with the residents there, you can check with the owners of the shops there, and I'm happy to understand what you find about what I am saying, so that I can learn in what I will be doing in the future. And if I get elected again, we'll try to get a mural on that brick wall, so it can look a bit of artistic, and I'll try to engage the Art of England, is it Art England?
Yes.
Art of England. And we'll try to engage the local schools as well, the art clubs, and the primary or secondary school students. We'll take inputs from them on what they wanted to see on that brick wall. So we'll try to get that artwork done, mural done on the brick wall. That's my vision. So like I was explaining about one of my recent contribution about getting a brick wall done, which used to be like this. So this area used to be like this. It was so filthy, and after putting a lot of efforts and after hundreds of times chasing with the Slough Council officers, we got this brick wall being built here, and it's a bit better now, obviously, compared to this. Thank you. Thank you. And obviously, I implemented the neighborhood watch scheme in the ward, and I'm happy to expand that further with the support from the residents as well. And I would like to tell you one more of my kind of major contribution towards helping the Langley residents. This is about the Langley Library, because Slough Council bankrupted in 2021 officially. They declared bankruptcy, and they are in the process of selling down all the assets, most of the assets which they could sell, which is not fair from the residents' point of view, but that's what it is happening, unfortunately. In 2021 November or November-December, Slough Borough Council did a public consultation about the library services, and one of the proposal was to close down Langley and Sydenham Library, which I was not happy about it, which no Langley resident would be happy about it. So I fought against it, and because being Langley library in the center of Langley, and I am very well connected to Langley. I know the importance of the Langley library. You know the importance of the Langley library. There is no doubt about whether the library should be there or not. It is needed for everyone for generations. Whether it is digital technology or how much we develop in terms of digitally, it doesn't matter. Still, we need the library. So I introduced a motion in council meeting, in one of the council meeting, to protect the Langley library. And of course, obviously being an opposition councillor, I was the one who introduced the motion, seconded by my colleague. But then obviously Labour Party, they amended the motion and they also supported that motion. So directly, indirectly, it was supported by every party, and the motion has been successfully passed. And for now, library is protected. It's one of my major contributions. That's why I would like to highlight it here. And in 2024, possibly council will come back and saying, oh, sorry, we have to close it now. So we are going to sell the asset because of the financial crisis that's been going on now. I'll try my best with the support of residents, with the support of other conservative councillors and Labour councillors as well. I will work with, it's not that only conservative councillors will work to protect Langley Library. It's like, bringing all the councillors together, bringing all the community together to protect our Langley Library. I will try my best to do everything that I can do to protect Langley Library in the future if I get elected again, obviously. Thank you.
So, Chandra, tell me something about the upcoming election and the boundary changes that are due to take place.
Yeah, there is certainly something new about these elections. Till now, what we used to have was 1/3 elections, and from now onwards, it is going to be all-out elections. So the next elections will be on 4th of May. All councillors will be re-elected on 4th of May, and after that there will not be another local elections for at least 4 years. And also the ward boundaries are changing now. There were 15 boundaries, there are still 15 boundaries. The 15 boundaries has been made into 21 wards going forward, effective from 4th of May. And the ward that I am representing at the moment is the Langley Kedermister. Kedermister is not going to be there anymore. Name will be changed, the ward will be there. So the new name for this ward will be called Langley Marish. Before that, we used to have 3,500 households approximately and 3 councillors for Kedermister. And now onwards, with effective from May, there will be 2 councillors for each ward. So the total number of wards will be 21, and each ward will have 2 councillors. Total number of councillors will be 42. Even now it is 42. In the future also it is going to be 42. But the ward boundaries have been changed, the sizes have been changed, the sizes have been streamlined. So from 15 to 21, it's become like the number of wards have been increased now. And as I mentioned, our ward is going to be called Langley Marish now, and the elections will be on 4th of May. So we are back onto the streets, talking to residents and obviously campaigning and telling them what we have been doing, what we wanted to do for the future as well.
Very interesting. So what makes you want to stand as a councillor again for your ward? Yeah,
I believe based on my past contribution, and I'm sure there's a lot that I can contribute for our Langley. Langley is my town, Slough is my town, it is our town. Together we can make Langley, Slough better. There's a lot to be done, and there's a lot that I can offer, and I'm very passionate and I'm very committed. I've been working hard. That shows if I'm doing something, obviously residents will decide if I've been doing something based on my past contribution, but it's my duty to convey what I've been doing over the last 2 years so they can understand if I'm going to be good enough for the next 4 years. And I have a future plan as well, which probably I'll cover up. I'll talk about the future plan as well shortly.
Very, very good, yes. I know you're very active within the community, which is brilliant to see as a councillor within the local community.
Thank you.
So you must have had some feedback in the past from residents. And if so, what is it? And what is your future plan for the ward, Langley, and Slough?
Yeah, sure. No, it's a good question. As I was just mentioning, I've been working with the residents very actively, and fortunately, unfortunately, I'm an IT guy, techie guy, so I'm active on the social media as well. So many residents do tag me on the Facebook and on the Nextdoor and on the other digital platforms as well. They may not be my ward members, but obviously when someone comes to me, I can't say no to them. But obviously it's my duty to tell them, if I'm not their ward councillor, I would tell them first, I'm not your ward councillor, please do approach your ward councillors as first point of contact. But if you still want me to support you, I'm happy to support you. So that's why I've been engaging with the residents. I've been honest. I don't want to take other ward councillors' work, because there's a reason why wards are there, there's a reason why councillors are there for each ward. So it's not that one councillor will be taking over the work from the other wards as well. We don't need to do that. But if residents are requesting, then we are happy to support them in whichever ward they belong to. That doesn't matter. And the future plan, so based on the feedback that I've been getting from the residents, I'm going to talk about my individual manifesto. It's not a manifesto, but my kind of future plan. Obviously, the Conservative Party is working on creating our manifesto, so we'll be publishing soon. That's going to be our group manifesto. But I have my own manifesto based on the feedback that I've been getting, complaints and feedback from the residents. Because when someone comes to me asking for some help or giving me some feedback about what the issue they are going through, it's very difficult that I don't do anything. I can't resist not doing anything. So I have my future plan. Let me tell you a couple of them. One is about GP services. So nowadays getting appointment with the local GP surgery is very difficult. You have to wait for 30 minutes or 1 hour, 2 hours sometimes, and the doctors are still not seeing the patients face to face unless it is really essential. So they are going through different procedures. They are not still back to pre-COVID situation. So that's what something I'm going to focus. I'm going to talk to all the local surgeries. That could be Langley Health Center or Orchard Surgery, or it could be Upton, or it could be any other surgery. I'll be getting the feedback also. I'll be taking the feedback also from residents. What I do is generally, before I work on any major project like this, I create a Google form survey monkey. So I pass that across to all the residents through the digital platforms, and I get the feedback, because I need to understand what residents are going through first, so that I can go back to the GPs and say that this is what your residents are feeling. Our constituents are experiencing. So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And if required, if possible, I'll set up a public meeting, like the way I arranged the public meeting with the Superintendent of Police to discuss the safety matters. Similarly, I'll arrange a public meeting with all the GP practitioners, all the management, governors, whoever it is. I need to work on that. And then I'll invite the residents as well to come to that meeting, so there can be a better collaboration between residents and the GPs as well. You may be thinking why GPs are not doing what they can do. And let me tell you one thing. GPs probably may not be realizing that what residents are going through. They may be getting feedback from one-off kind of thing, but obviously a collective feedback will certainly give visibility to the GPs, and they will try to understand what is the problems that residents are going through. And certainly I'll put efforts by working with the local surgeries and with NHS, so that the appointment system can be better, and we can get more appointments when residents need it. That is something about the GPs. Do you have any questions about that? Or do you have any feedback about GP services? You are fit and young, so probably you are still. But there are vulnerable families, so old people, patients, people who are going through the medical problems. Sorry, you wanted to say something?
It's definitely something that it needs to be improved on. I know from my past experiences with family and others, it has been a nightmare to try and get GP appointments. It is absolutely shocking, and with the amount of pressure that A&E is under, it's crazy that you can't get a GP appointment
when you need it.
When you need it, exactly.
Yeah. It is shame. And I'll tell you one more thing. When residents do feel any concerns about any services, whether it is Slough Borough Council or Thames Valley Police or NHS, they should contact, they should raise the voice. If they don't raise the voice, then we will not know.
Exactly.
So they need to raise the voice, and I don't blame residents, because many residents may not be knowing that there is someone called councillor, so they don't know who to go. They just take the pain and they just go through that situation in the way, they are getting the services, but the services can be improved, certainly. We need to put efforts. So that's where, it's my duty, or it's duty of any councillor or any elected representative to be approachable to the residents, to be reachable, communicate. We need to be communicating with the residents through various ways, whether it is social media or by doing the public meetings. Different, we can do many things. That way we get to know more of what the residents are going through. And certainly GP services, as rightly you also mentioned, it is essential for everyone in this country, in this town as well, obviously. So that is something I'm going to focus on as well.
Brilliant.
And my other few points, if I can talk about.
Please do.
So safety is something I'm going to focus. I've been talking about what I've been doing to improve the safety of the local area with the help of the Thames Valley Police, of course with the help of the Slough Council as well. That is something, there's still a lot to be done. Trust me, there's a lot to be done. So that is something I'm continuously going to focus on safety. And the other aspect is library. We discussed already about the Langley Library. Slough Council has plans to sell Langley Library, unfortunately, which is not something I would quietly sit and accept.
No.
And I'm sure residents don't want any councillor not to do anything, because residents are electing us to do something for them. So I'm happy to work to protect the Langley Library. I'll see what can be done as a group of councillors, with conservative group councillors or independent councillors or with Labour councillors as well. And if required, we can go for crowdfunding. And if required, we would go to National Lottery. They have some funding as well. They do support the local projects as well. There are different ways how we can mobilize the money. Personally, I don't see money as an issue, but having the vision, having the determination to fight for it is important thing. And the library is something very well connected to all the residents, and it is essential, as I already mentioned, to everyone. So that is something I'm going to focus on. And the brick wall that I mentioned on the Trillion Avenue shops, I think already I mentioned, but we'll try to get a mural on the brick wall. That is something. And I'll tell you one more thing. Is that okay? Or am I taking too much of your time?
No, go for it.
You're happy for it. Admissions, school admissions is one of the major issue at the moment. Many parents are going through, many children are suffering because of that. The admission criteria currently probably is out of date. I need to investigate that with the help of obviously the schools and governors and with the residents and with the Slough Council as well. So my focus is to change the admission criteria so that more children are in the local schools. Because currently many parents are moving into Slough by hoping that they'll get school admission for their child, boy or daughter, into the local school. And so the child can walk to the school. But unfortunately, the children are not getting school places in the local schools. That is something to be investigated. Certainly there is something missing. We need to change that. So the admission criteria needs to be rewritten. It needs to be revisited. Probably the admission criteria is out of date, as I mentioned. It's probably set 10 years back or 15 years back. So now the population is different, demographics is different, child age groups are different. So we need to consider all those aspects and rewrite, change the admission policies so we can accommodate more local children into more local schools. The beauty of it is it will reduce the traffic on the roads, because if for example you are into secondary school, you are in the sixth form, of course you can take public transport or you can take your own car if you got the license. Have you got the license?
Yes, I do.
You got the license already? Okay, that's good. Obviously, someone starting year 7, year 8, year 9, obviously they will be comfortable very quickly walking to the school if the school is in the walking distance. But obviously, if Langley child has been given a place in Wrexham, obviously he can't go on his own, or she can't go on his own. So parents have to support. Parents have to drive to the school. So it will increase the traffic, it will increase the pollution, it will increase the cost of the burden on the family expenses as well. So it is essential that more children are in local schools. That's going to be one of my focus as well in my future plan for the next 4 years if I get elected.
Brilliant. So Chandra, why should we vote for Conservative Party and not Labour Party?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. That's a good question actually, because let me tell you a couple of facts. I'm sure you are familiar, but the fact is Slough Council is run by the Labour political party for such a long time. It is 36 years in the last 40 years. And obviously we know the situation with the Slough Council at the moment. It is bankrupted. They are selling as many assets as possible and they are reducing all the services. For example, green bin, you need to pay £50 now for the green bin to be collected, and also the bin collection for the grey bin and for red bin will be fortnightly from June 2023. So the services are going down. Obviously the library services are also going down. If they change the library services, they reduce the number of opening hours because they have no money to run the services. So there's no reason why anyone would should vote for Labour Party again, and I hope they will be able to give a chance to Conservative Party so we can prove what we can do for the next 4 years. And I don't think Labour can can make any further worse. Actually, they have done enough worse, and it's good to choose an alternative party, no doubt about it. And based on my past performance, based on the performance from the other Conservative councillors of Slough, you can really understand who is good for Slough for the next 4 years. And let me tell you one more fact: there are 34 or 35 Labour councillors in Slough Borough Council at the moment. 6 Conservative councillors, 1 or 2 independent councillors, and out of 34 Labour councillors, hardly 10-15 councillors they contribute, they speak in the council meetings. As at least 20 councillors in the last 2 years, I have never seen them speaking, contributing in the council meetings. So I don't see any reason why people should vote for them again and again.
So Chandra, I heard recently you arranged Keep Langley Tidy in Kedermister Park, a community list pick, and do you have any more plans like that to keep residents together and to keep the environment clean?
Yeah, you're right. We recently organized Keep Langley Tidy in line with Keep Britain Tidy. Keep Britain Tidy happens every year from 17th of March to April 2nd. So we thought it's a nice opportunity during that window doing something similar to the lines of Keep Britain Tidy. So we named it as Keep Langley Tidy, and it was a great event. It was a successful event. We had partnered with various local organizations and the corporates as well, like TCS and Slough Mitra Mandal, and there are many other organizations like Slough Anti-Litter Society, Slough Borough Council also was born, obviously, they helped as well, very well. So we came together and we invited all the local residents as well. There were 55 people at least who took part in this event, and it was not just about picking up the litter. It's about bringing the community together and giving back something back to the community as well. And to answer to your question, yes, there are more things that we can do which will bring the community together and which will make the community better as well. It's not just about a litter pick. Let me tell you my ward development plan. I have something like a ward development plan. This ward development plan will be achieved with the help of residents. This is nothing to do with council or any other organizations, but obviously they will be involved, they will be invited as well. But I want to work with all the residents, as many residents as possible. Let me tell you. So there are 5,000 residents approximately in Langley Marish Ward. If we can bring at least 20-25 volunteers once in a month or once in fortnight, we can do miracles. Let me tell you what my ward development plan, based on what I'm going through, what my experiences with the local community recently. So this is my ward development plan. Yeah. So one of the aspect is, as I mentioned, as we discussed about Keep Langley Tidy, clean up our parks and neighborhood periodically, which we already did recently, and it's not going to be one-off. Hopefully it will be regular and it will be frequent as well, and with the help of residents obviously. And then what we can do is, there are many other things that we can do together. We can monitor for fly tipping and potholes. So around 10-15 volunteers we can go around and we can see where are the fly tipping, where are the potholes, because there are too many potholes that only one person can report. Unfortunately, that's the situation we are in with the Slough Borough Council. So we need to go as a group of volunteers and identify all the potholes and report them back to me. I can collect the data, I can reconcile the data, and I can pass back the data back to the senior officers within the Slough Borough Council. In fact, I have spoken to the director, one of the directors within the Slough Borough Council, about collecting this data as a community together and passing that data back to them. And then they will go through the data that we provide and they will identify which pothole can be fixed, which pothole cannot be fixed, and they'll come up with their own action plan on fixing those potholes. That is my second point. And then help the elderly residents, if any, for example, assisting them with online doctor appointments. For obviously elderly people, they are not obviously familiar with IT technology as much as you and me are. So if they need any assistance, then we will identify their needs and we'll offer them assistance. Assist with the free groceries for struggling families, if we can offer help to any families. And it's not about you and me helping. As a community, we'll identify who wants to kind of help these struggling families. So it's all about working together. It's not about only one person helping the struggling family, or it's all not just about you or me. It's about identifying everyone, bringing everyone together and helping each other. And reduce the plastic usage by promoting bags for life to every resident. And bags can be produced with the support from local businesses. So let me tell you something about this. Obviously, there is a plastic usage in this country, in Langley, in Slough, everywhere. We need to reduce that plastic usage. It's not good to go with what we are doing at the moment. So what we can do is, obviously there are bags for life which are on sale, available from Sainsbury's, Tesco's, from many other superstores as well. What I'm thinking is, we'll go to the local businesses, especially the local shopkeepers, local entrepreneurs, and we'll try to get the support from them. If they're happy to sponsor partly, then what we'll do is we'll print the bags with the help of their financial contribution. We'll print their logos onto the bag. So all the local 20, if there are 50 businesses locally, if 20 businesses wants to sponsor us, support us, then 20 logos will be printed on the bag, on all the sides of the bag, and those bags will be distributed to every resident within Langley. Of course, we'll start with Langley Parish because I'm representing Langley Parish, but obviously if we can, we'll expand that similar idea to other wards of Langley and to the Slough as well. That's my another idea. And encourage residents to walk for school run and for the shops to reduce the number of cars on the road, because many families, including me, including you, including everyone, all of us, we tend to drive because we have cars. So most of us do have cars. Even if the shop is within 100 meters, we just pick up the car because the weather is not good. We have that excuse always to say, oh, British weather, no, we can't trust, so let's jump into the car. So we need to motivate, we need to educate people that how much pollution, how much traffic congestion together we are causing to the community. Definitely. So we can hold some placards saying, please walk to the school, please walk to the shop, something like that. We'll get ideas collectively. We'll prepare kind of various placards with different slogans, and we'll try to make residents more aware about the benefits of walking to the school or to the shop or to the office if they can, or maybe cycling. It's all about letting them know, please try to consider if you can walk to the school or to the shop. And we'll grow together by supporting each other's businesses and ambitions. There are many local traders, for example plumber, or for example gardener. There are many local available locally. If we can promote their businesses locally, then they can offer their services at reduced cost as well, which will be beneficial for us, for the traders as well. So if we can unite all the residents, as many residents as possible, through the digital platforms, for example WhatsApp or maybe Facebook or maybe Twitter, whatever it is, then if someone wants to promote their business through these digital platforms, then the administrators, for example me, if I'm admin of that group, I'm happy to promote their business by publishing their message probably once in a week. We will allocate that day for all the classifieds. So all the businesses, all the people who wanted to promote their business, if someone is offering art lessons, if someone is offering plumbing services or gardening services or any services, electrician services or CCTV services, anything, we'll promote locally. By promoting local businesses locally, the benefit is less traffic as well, because they don't need to travel elsewhere, the traders, and we don't need to get the traders from elsewhere, so it will reduce the number of cars as well. Brilliant. And it will reduce the pollution as well, and it will reduce the traffic congestion as well. And the one more point is, we'll do door-to-door campaigning for better recycling. The green bins, for example. You want to focus that? Yeah, okay. So the red bin, obviously the purpose of red bin is for the recycling. And to be honest, some of the residents, or probably many of the residents, may be putting wrong things into the red bin as well. And obviously that's not a good practice. So we need to educate residents, including myself, I need to be educated myself as well, probably. There's no doubt about it. We all need to be educated. We all need to be improve our awareness. We increase the awareness about what should go into the red bin, what shouldn't go into the red bin. So, as I was mentioning, when we get together with more and more residents, what we can do is one of the activity can be about promoting better recycling. So we'll go to each door, few doors at least, and we'll tell them, this is what should go into the red bin. I'm sure you know, but we just wanted to make sure the message is conveyed again correctly to you. And so these are few of my, bullet points from my ward development plan. If you have anything that we can add to this plan, and if any other residents has any inputs, feedback that can be contributed to, this development plan, we are happy to collaborate and make it a robust plan, and we'll work towards building better community.
Brilliant plan. So my last question to you, Chandra, is what is your message to your residents of the ward?
Yeah, so this is certainly local elections. My request for every resident is to consider the local candidates, local issues, capable candidates. Of course, politics are important, party is important, but at the same time, you need to also identify if your candidate is going to be the right candidate, either it is Labour Party or Conservative Party. That's one aspect. And the other aspect is the local elections turnout is very poor.
Yes.
It's probably 25 to 35% at most. My request, our request to everyone within Slough, within Langley, is to get more and more residents to come to the elections for voting their councillors on May 4th. That's what I would like to request all the residents to come and please support us by selecting the right candidate on 4th of May elections, local elections. Thank you.
Brilliant. Chandra, it was lovely meeting you today to discuss your ward development plan, the plans you have for the future for Langley and for Slough, and to ensure that residents come together and to make Langley and Slough a better place for what they need to be. It has been a privilege to be with you today, and I hope residents who are listening to this will hopefully vote you in again to make a change to Langley and to Slough. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cameron. It's really nice you being here, and I really appreciate the time that you have taken this Sunday. Being it is Sunday, obviously you have a lot of homework to do. You have your university plan, many other things that you have, but you still spent a couple of hours coming over here because I know you are not very local at the moment. But thanks for your family as well in driving you to here. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you.